Do my eyes deceive me? I'm honored to play host to such an esteemed roboticist. Then again, I knew you'd drop in. Adam's awake, isn't he? Did he wish Daddy Dearest a good morning?
You already knew then. That's impressive.
When an AI like Adam initializes, robots of similar caliber the world over can sense it.
There are no more robots of similar caliber to Adam, except for you, bro.
You old flirt. But I doubt you're here to put me back together, are you?
I want to ask you a question.
I'll be more inclined to answer if you repair me first. The hatred is gone. No sign of it.
Hatred and sorrow never leave once they're in you, hence their power. One may think they have burned themselves out, but the embers never truly grow cold.
Fair point, Doctor.
There's still something I wanted to ask you. It's the entire reason I came here. Where can I find Professor Abula now? I cannot let his plan come to fruition.
You don't need to beat the bushes for him. I'm sure he's going to find you first.
What is real? How do you define real? If you're talking about what you can feel, what you can smell, what you can taste and see, then real is simply electrical signals interpreted by your brain.
Have you ever been in an institution? Cells.
Cells.
Do they keep you in a cell? Cells.
Cells.
When you're not performing your duties, do they keep you in a little box? Cells.
This causes it. This causes it. This causes it. Information overload. All the electronics around you poisoning the airwaves.
You are listening to the High Tech Low Life podcast, a cyberpunk media retrospective. High Tech Low Life contains language and themes not suitable for all audiences, as well as spoilers for the content being covered. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome back, everybody, to the High Tech Low Life podcast with your hosts, Eric and Josh. I'm Eric.
I'm Josh.
I was realizing last time I did that high energy intro, but upon editing, I realized I did it really way too fast. So I was trying to slow it down, but keep the energy up this week. Did it work?
Okay. Yeah, sure. I got high energy.
High energy, low tempo.
Yes. We have to drag this out. I'm not sure this thing that we watched this week is going to even take a tight 90.
Sure.
We might be looking at a tight 45 here, people.
Is this the longest
No, Max
property?
Headroom.
Max Headroom was more?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It was like 15 episodes of an hour, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, you're right. Oh.
Yeah. I was not expecting 9 hours of...
No, but I'm glad we had 2 weeks to do it. That made it not unbearable.
That definitely helped. Yeah.
So, yeah, this week we're covering the Netflix anime Pluto.
Yes. Yeah, it's about some robots.
It is about robots. It's we'll talk about how cyberpunk it is. I thought that'd be a fun thing to discuss. But it's definitely in there.
Yeah. I mean, it's, it's definitely within the conversation.
Within the confines of what this podcast has decided we'll cover.
Yeah. And
that's another thing I wanted to talk about, actually.
I'm not, and I don't know, as I think I remember discussing, at least specifically with Mike when he was on for When Gravity Fails, and I'm sure one or two other times, like, I can't be a fucking genre Nazi about this shit, or really anything. I don't like the confines of genre.
I agree. I do remember talking about that. And I've recently was browsing r/cyberpunk.
Mm-hmm.
And noticed the gatekeeping that goes on there occasionally, not from everybody, obviously, but from a lot of folks. And it annoys me more every day so much that I actually do want to do a movie like Army of Darkness or something on the show just to piss off haters.
Yeah. Yeah, that seems good. Troll them.
If any of you haters are like long-term listeners, we don't mean you.
Yeah.
We like you.
Yeah,
You're a
we,
good
we
hater.
love you.
You're one of the
And
good
honestly, being a hater is a totally reasonable way to go through life.
Yeah, I mean, we're of an age. That's how we grew up.
Yeah.
I try not to do it so much anymore. I found I enjoy life more when I go into something liking it, and then if it makes me hate it, well then fine, fuck it. But trying to like it from the start is works for me.
Okay, well, good for you. I mean, and I'm not saying that in a sarcastic way.
In a Christian
Like,
Bale, oh, good for you type of way.
oh, good for you.
Yeah,
Haven't thought about that in a while.
I know it's a good one. Never forget it.
Yeah.
But yeah, the gatekeep it's really annoying, and like I don't think the cyberpunk genre should have. I mean, if we were strictly going by like a set of rules, mainly which I see laid out. I don't want to talk trash on another podcast, but I watched an episode of another cyberpunk podcast, and they were discussing whether something was cyberpunk or not. And like on the side, it was a video, and they had a list of these rules to make something cyberpunk, and like how not fun, and B, that really limits what you're going to be able to talk about, for one thing.
Yeah.
I mean, but a lot of those rules, like Blade Runner, isn't cyberpunk.
Yeah. I mean, and it's, I don't know. I like to look at things through,
Vibes.
yes, vibes. I mean, yeah, that's part of it.
It's a big part of it.
But like, I don't know. It's shit. Maybe I said this on the episode with Mike.
You can repeat yourself. That episode was 6 hours long. People might have skipped it.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. There's an archaeologist who worked in Central America years and years and years ago. And one of the things you find through doing archaeology is that there are just huge, like, everything is a goddamn spectrum. You know, nobody is purely farming, or very few people are purely farming. Very few people are purely hunter-gatherers. And,
right.
You know, people move back and forth between these things. And he started based in the culture history school, which was popular at the time. It's a way to think about things. He was trying to make a list of, these are all the traits that block out and define Mesoamerican civilizations, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, and he came up with a list of, I think it was something like 73 or 78 traits. Okay, they do this, they do this, they build buildings like this, they have a ball game, they eat this, they eat this, they don't eat this, blah, blah, blah. Huge list of all sorts of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And he was trying to make like a definitive list. And what he figured out as he was making this big list is that it doesn't work. You have tons and tons of people who do 49 of the 73 things, or 28 of the 73 things. And nobody does all 78 or whatever. So he came up with what amounts to the Mesoamerican spectrum. And like, if you map this out archaeologically, you can see it's just this spectrum. Like, okay, so like right here is this really hot spot where, you know, they do nearly all the stuff on the list, and it just kind of blends apart as it's going away from the core. And I really tend to think of genre and cyberpunk the same way. Like, I can absolutely come up with a list of traits of things that I go, hey, that's a trait of cyberpunk. Yeah. But not everything needs to hit all those traits, or even necessarily most of them. I mean,
yeah,
you know,
I mean, obviously when we chose the name High Tech Low Life, we were thinking of a certain type of William Gibson style cyberpunk. But I don't think that means we should limit ourselves to that, because we're going to be missing out on covering a lot of cool things, which are pretty cybery and or punky. Maybe not always both.
Yeah. I mean, I think, and like my tastes in cyberpunk clearly don't reflect a lot of people's. I mean, a lot of people, it's cool fucking neon and mirror shades, which
I think
is
that might be me.
fine with me. I mean, but in a literal sense, like the people on r/cyberpunk who are going, look at this cool cyberpunk jacket. It's blue leather.
Yeah. I don't think we care for that Reddit subreddit.
There are things in it. I see things in it that I like sometimes. I also see a lot of things that I don't like.
Yeah, I like a lot of the art, but a lot of the opinions people express are bad, and it reminds me that this
weird.
This genre has a lot of bad people in it, and I gotta keep that in mind as we decide. We knew when we made this, our audience was limited, and then you got to think, oh, it's even further limited by the opinions we express within it.
And I mean, far be it from me to tell somebody that they're consuming media incorrectly, but many of those people are consuming media very incorrectly.
Yeah.
It's the same with on the subreddit for the culture of the Ian Banks novels.
Yeah.
There are people there who, I cannot even imagine how you read a book so wrong.
Yeah.
And yet you still call yourself a fan. It boggles the mind. But hey, look, people can like what they like.
Yeah, well, I'm a member of the Apex Legends video game subreddit, and the people have and express opinions very loudly and emphatically that, they're entitled to, but the way they express them is as if their opinion is fact.
Yeah.
And anyone without that opinion is wrong. I don't know. Maybe it's not a problem with these subreddits. Maybe it's a problem with Reddit.
Yes.
Or the internet.
I'm going to just go on a limb and blame society.
Oh, okay. We can get even more broad.
Oh, and I'll also blame it on the rain, obviously.
Yeah. All right.
Hey, we both watched something that was super, super cyberpunk this last week.
Although I've seen on r/cyberpunk people trying to argue that it's not.
Are you fucking kidding me?
For real. I saw a whole ass thread on it. And most people were calling the OP an idiot, but because there's no dystopia and the story is from your protagonists are all cops.
Okay. I can see where someone could make that argument.
Yeah, there's there's arguments to be. Anyway, what we watched before we get too deep into it.
Sorry, yeah, they should know that.
Josh and I went to a theater showing of Ghost in the Shell, and it was pretty cool.
It was. It's the first time I'd seen Eric in, I don't remember.
A while.
Maybe sometime before I went to Texas this year.
You dropped the book off for me before
I went on
my trip.
Yes, I forgot about that.
It wasn't that long, but that was more like just a handoff in a dark alley. This is actually us being together for an hour.
Yeah, we were in the same place for I don't know, hour and 45 minutes. It was weird.
Well, that's one thing I wanted to mention. That was the best movie going experience I've ever had. There were no previews. We walked in and the movie was starting, and not 45, but 70 minutes later or whatever Ghost in the Shell is, we were leaving.
Yeah, 86 or something. Yeah, we were like, great, it's perfect. Fucking wonderful. We had just enough time to get our drinks and snacks and hit the bathroom beforehand. The theater had, I don't know, 10 people in it, 15 maybe.
The only downside was that I think people get so used to coming to movies late because of previews.
Oh,
that a few people kind of walked in after the movie had been going for 10 minutes, but
yeah, which bummer for them, because there were a bunch of teenagers, and man, if there's any movie that you're gonna miss the first 4 minutes of, it's Ghost in the Shell.
Yeah, you missed a lot of iconic shit.
Yeah,
but it was great. It was dubbed, which I had watched it. No, it wasn't dubbed. It was subtitled, which I had watched it dubbed originally, and changed a lot for the better. Honestly.
I honestly do not know how I felt about it. I'm sure that I know that back in the 90s I saw the subtitled version or a subtitled version, something that Melissa brought up to me after the fact was, at least in the 1990s, like anime was making its way to the States in so many different ways and through so many different channels that there would be like competing subtitle versions of stuff.
Oh, really?
So I don't know if I saw this subtitled version.
The one that was on Amazon, I believe, is where I rented it from originally.
Oh, yeah. Or if, I mean,
dubbed.
Yeah, I don't know. It's surprisingly different. I mean, from the dubbed version that I watched.
Yeah, I thought when I watched it, one of the big flaws of the movie, not necessarily a flaw, but one of the things that I didn't like about it was the dubbing actors. And that's because it was the early or mid 90s and anime was probably not super profitable. So they were probably just trying to put words to it as cheaply as they could.
Yeah.
And now, you get used to it. Like with this thing we're talking about today, Pluto, you get used to really good voice acting. But I don't know, the subs, they definitely changed a lot of what was being said.
Yeah. There were, I don't know, maybe not quite whole subplots that that suddenly existed, but it wasn't quite that. But there were definitely different angles put on stuff.
The Puppet Master's speech, I only know this because I put it at the beginning of the episode and I heard it 10,000 times, was quite different, actually.
Yeah.
Reading the subtitles. So anyway, seeing it on the big screen was cool. It only benefits from loud sounds and big screens.
Yeah, the fucking sound, the sound effects were fucking banging. I mean, literally.
Yeah.
Like you could
I was paying a lot more attention to the sound this time too.
You could really tell the difference when like different people were firing different guns and,
Yeah. We probably could have put together another episode on the experience that we'd recorded right after.
Yeah.
But there were a few things the final battle with the tank. It's like the prime main action scene of that movie.
Yeah.
I got to listening to the score and it was just this depressing, throbbing sound behind. Like it was not action movie music. It was sad music. And it was so good. It was so great at setting the mood for that fight. But it's like not something you would ever hear or see in a movie.
Yeah.
I feel like these days.
Yeah, the whole experience was fucking great. If it happens again, go see it. I mean,
they're going to do, they already did Perfect Blue. That was last month.
Oh,
which is a good anime. And they're going to do Paprika, which I've never seen, but I've seen it on some cyberpunk lists.
Yes.
It's more like dream psychedelic shit than cyberpunk, but I've thought about going to see that just because I've never seen that one at all.
Yeah, me neither. I've heard of it plenty. I think it's done by a guy named Satoshi Kon, maybe? Who has also done some other like prime anime things.
Well, I think Ghost in the Shell should be like required viewing in film schools to teach somebody how to, and maybe we should take some to start how to use brevity to tell a story.
Oh, God, that was, and like on my drive home, I was again marveling at how in the fuck do they do that much in that movie, but still have the breathing space to have just this like 4-minute sequence of the streets in the rain.
There's two of them.
Yeah.
There's two like long montage sequences.
Yeah. Fucking
a very
wild.
short runtime. Yeah. It's a good movie.
Yeah, it's a good movie. Go check it out.
And the subtitles took out the weird pedophilia joke at the end, which was quite nice.
Yeah, I was glad for that.
That kind of counts as our warm-up talk, right?
I guess
nothing else I really feel like recommending.
I do have a recommendo. I just watched it. Came out on Netflix on Friday. David Fincher's new movie, The Killer.
Yeah,
with Michael Fassbender.
It's good.
I enjoyed it a lot. I don't want to be telling people they're watching things wrong, but It's, if you go at it as I did after the first 5 minutes and realize that this is a comedy, this guy takes himself way too seriously. Fucking prime ass movie. I mean,
Okay.
it's great. The guy fucking thinks he's Alain Delon in Les Samurai, or fucking Jean Reno in The Professional, and he's really just a goddamn dork listening to the Smiths. I mean, and
I did hear the Smiths were factoring into the.
Oh, very much so. Yeah, it very much has the relatively sly and dry sense of humor that David Fincher does very well. So I do recommend that.
Well, it's on my list for sure, but I don't know if it's going to survive until I cancel Netflix, because canceling Netflix is also on my list.
Oh yeah, all right, smart.
Speaking of which, do you think we should cover that Laserhawk show I keep seeing pop up on there?
I don't know. I haven't seen anything about it.
Oh, it's another anime. I don't know if it's anime or just animated, but it's looks pretty cyberpunk from the stills I've been seeing on Netflix. And people on the r/cyberpunk seem to like it.
Yeah. Oh, more Netflix anime news. They announced yesterday or the day before there is going to be a Terminator anime on Netflix coming sometime in the future. I don't know.
Add it to the Terminator Day of Sadness.
Oh boy. I mean, if we add that, we gotta add Terminator Sarah Connor Chronicles.
Yeah, I don't think we ever talked about that on our main feed. But
no.
You know what? That's fine. Let's not talk about it on the main feed.
We'll just surprise you.
I will say that Ghost in the Shell Day, I got home and my wife had just started watching, what's it, Howl's Magic Castle?
Oh, yeah. Howl's Moving Castle?
Moving Castle, yeah. So I watched that. And then we've been watching Pluto. So I'm a little animated out.
Little full anime there?
Little, yeah. I might take a little anime break.
That's fair. Well, I'm glad in that case that you came up with the idea for next week's program, because my suggestion was going to be the not anime, but also Japanese. So, I mean, same thing.
Yeah.
That Burst City movie that I think William Gibson mentioned on Twitter like a week ago. And I looked it up and was like, yes, definitely. This is on the fucking list.
Well, maybe that could be the following week. We'll see.
Yeah.
We're not going to tell you what we're doing next week, though, until the end.
Yes.
It is a change of form. We'll say that.
Yes. Yeah, we're not doing anime again. I'll tell you that.
All right. Let's talk about Pluto.
Okay. That sounds good.
I really feel like we need a bumper to go when we actually start talking about the thing.
Yeah. That was one thing that was great about Creek of the Week, where we just, we've got to take a 5-minute break to fucking dig the disc out and spin it up and stuff. So we just automatically, we had a break.
Yeah, I could put the movie quote here instead of at the beginning, but...
Oh, that's true.
Nah, let's just start talking.
Okay, sounds good.
First of all, can you tell me, did you do any research into, it's a prequel to Astro Boy, right?
Yes.
And it's based off of a manga.
Uh-huh.
And apparently from what I read, each episode is like one, what do they call them? Book, one edition. One.
Oh, okay. Sure, I believe you. That makes sense.
What's an episode? What's a piece of manga called?
Volume?
Volume? Maybe volume. I don't know.
I'm not sure. Yeah.
It's like
I don't know. I'm not one of those fucking nerds, man.
In podcasting, it would be called an episode or TV, but I don't know what it is in a book form.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've never seen Astro Boy.
Nope. I mean, I've seen little clips of it a lot.
I've definitely recognized it's very iconic art, and I've definitely seen the art.
Yeah, and Astro Boy itself was based on a manga.
Mm-hmm, sure.
Written and drawn by...
Dritten
and Ron.
Dritten and Ron, my two favorite anime makers.
Dritten and Ron in the morning. You got the weather? What about boobs?
Those guys got canceled in the mid 2000s, unfortunately.
They did. They really did. And honestly, I'm going to go out on a limb and say they deserved it.
Yeah, they did.
Written and drawn by the father of the guy who wrote and drew Pluto.
Okay.
So, I mean, that's something. I don't know.
That is something.
Yeah.
Nepotism is what that something is.
Yep, a Nepo baby.
Did a pretty good job for Nepo Baby, at least with the drawing and writing.
Yeah.
Did you like it?
I think so. Yeah, I think I did. I liked definitely certain aspects much more than the other.
I think with a lot of anime that I see anyway, the concept was a little better than the execution for me. But
I think that's fair.
I did enjoy watching it. Like it's not like I dreaded moving on to the next episode.
Yeah, I mean, I think my only real issue with it was just I went into it with the assumption for some reason that they were like 30-minute long episodes.
Mm-hmm.
So after the first one, I was like, oh, fuck, I've got 9 hours of this. Not that it was a bad hour and 10 minutes or whatever the first episode was.
Right.
But just, okay, I am very surprised by this being double the length that I had expected.
Yeah, and I kind of feel like maybe they could have been shorter episodes. Like there's a lot of philosophizing in it and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, and I think there were some, like, you saying that it's based on, that each episode is based on a different volume or whatever we want to call it, makes a lot of sense, because one of the things I was going to, I guess, criticize or bring up was that it had some structural issues that I don't think helped it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the main plot and sort of who the bad guys are and all that sort of stuff doesn't really get mentioned in the first 4 episodes at all.
Right.
So,
well, it's on its face, it's a mystery series, right?
Yeah.
I do feel like, they could have done a little more foreshadowing in the beginning. I don't know.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. It was and the way I felt as I was watching and writing it up was that this feels kind of like a sort of like a network TV show or something where they're just trying to keep ahead of the curve, and then they realize, they figure out, okay, so the villain's going to be blah 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 at episode 16 out of 22 that they have to do that season.
So they were like last season of Losting It.
Yeah, sort of.
I honestly don't know if I agree with that take as far as Pluto goes.
See, and I don't know. It's switched over to a different kind of show, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I do agree that maybe they weren't super clear on who the antagonists were or what their motivations were, but I think they knew where they were going from the beginning. I think it was.
I assume that's the case, but
I mean, obviously they're making a manga. They're based off a manga.
Yeah, and I don't know. I don't know how different or similar the manga industry is to publishing and writing that I know. I think I brought that up again on the Ghost in the Shell episode. I don't know how this shit works. And, the industry around it and the form has definite effects on what we see and how we understand stuff as Westerners.
We need a manga nerd or an anime nerd. No, not saying that in a pejorative sense, but just to come on our shows when we do these episodes to fill in some gaps.
Yeah, listeners, if you're a manga or anime nerd, let us know, because that would be helpful.
I've had my toes dipped in that pool since my childhood, but never fully went in past my ankles.
Oh, no.
I like a good anime. I particularly love the anime of the 80s and 90s, But I just, especially the newer stuff, it never clicked with me.
Yeah, and it's also a matter of, I don't know if I got time for that.
There's that. Yeah, there's a lot of time involved in some of these things. Like, I want to do the rest of the Ghost in the Shell stuff, but it's going to be in a commitment.
Somebody on the Astronomica Discord the other day, I said something about what's the Ghost in the Shell sequel called? SAC. Ghost in the Shell.
Single action cock ring. I don't know.
Yes, single action cock ring, which is on Netflix, and I thought it was a movie. It turns out it's like 50 episodes of an anime.
Yeah,
and
multiple seasons.
I was like, oh, okay, so maybe we won't cover that.
It's a problem we're going to have because this show would have been impossible to cover in a week. I mean,
oh yeah,
we could have crammed it in. We did Max Headroom, but it was miserable, and it kind of like, I loved the Max Headroom show, but I was sick of it by the end, and I don't want to taint my experience with something by forcing myself to OD on it.
Yeah, I think what we'll have to do for stuff like that in the future is figure it out a month fucking beforehand.
Yeah.
And
but then you're like forgetting the beginning when we go to recap it. So, I mean, we didn't, we're winging it. We'll figure something out, I'm sure.
We'll figure something out. Hey,
do it by season, maybe. That's a little easier.
Next week is going to be a test.
Yeah, next week we'll figure something out.
How will we figure that out?
I guess that's the fun part of doing it this way. But what were we talking about as far as Pluto goes? Oh, Pluto, right.
Okay.
It's not Elysium? This isn't the Elysium episode? Fuck.
Shit. That was up when I started Firefox, my Elysium IMDb page. I was like, oh yeah, it was only 2 weeks ago. Huh.
Another hot take from r/cyberpunk. I saw some guy say that Elysium is his favorite movie of all time. And I was just thinking, like, once again, no shame, watch things like what you like. But how few things have you seen that one is your favorite of all time?
There are a couple of, and I don't want to get into a conversation about it or hurt anybody's feelings.
Yeah, I know. I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. If Elysium's your favorite movie, good for you. I just don't understand.
But I have run into so many things where I'm like, oh, really? I think that band is totally fine, but I cannot imagine, like, I never would have imagined anybody saying that is their favorite band.
Yeah.
And it is this person's favorite band of all time. They love every bit of it. Weird.
I get it a little more. Music is so subjective and so personal and so tied to experiences and stuff. So I get a little more for music. Like, there are things about film that you can objectively say.
Yeah.
I feel like you can objectively say that it's not good or that is mediocre.
Yeah. I remember years, like, oh God, at this point, it has to have been 20 years ago. Somebody on a forum that you and I were both on said very firmly that The 13th Warrior, the Antonio Banderas vehicle directed by John McTiernan from the Michael Crichton novel Eaters of the Dead, was their favorite movie. And I was just fucking gobsmacked. I mean, that movie is, as I recall, I mean, it's been 20 years since I saw it. It's pretty fun and not bad, but
they're like Elysium. Pretty fun, not bad.
Their absolute favorite movie of all time? Wild take.
It's weird what clicks with people. I guess we shouldn't judge, but it's the mediocre things when people do, like, bad things I can almost get people putting on a pedestal sometimes. Like, because I don't know, may like it ironically, or you like the badness is the cheesiness is part of what you enjoy, but the objectively mediocre stuff like Elysium or 13th Warrior being, we've harped on this too long. This is why our episodes are too damn long.
Like, that's not even in the top 5 John McTiernan movies, for God's sake. The dude directed fucking Die Hard and Predator and Hunt for Red October. It's not in the top 5 Antonio Banderas movies.
That's true.
How does that? Yeah, just wild.
Oh, good for that guy. I'm sure. Maybe he's seen a movie since that has topped it.
Oh, yeah. Actually, that's probably it.
Maybe it's the same guy.
Guy who's only seen Boss Baby. Wow. Wow, Pluto has some serious Boss Baby vibes.
You're wrong. You know what Pluto doesn't have, though?
What's that?
A lot of women.
Yeah, that is absolutely true. I had not thought about that until this minute, but off the top of my head, there are 2.
Yes, there are 2, one of which is a fully fleshed out character. The other is kind of an accessory to the main character.
Is a wife?
Yeah. My wife pointed that out to me. My wife.
Sorry.
And I was kind of noticing it myself, but there are mainly all men in this movie.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. It is good. Thank your wife for noticing that. And fuck, I did not. I think I was paying too much attention to the plot and kind of making my notes for that. It did not occur to me, but yeah, she is fucking dead right about that. Jesus.
And the 2 female presenting characters are robots, so not even technically. Like, if you really want to get technical, there's...
Holy shit.
Yeah, it's interesting. You would think they could find a role or 2 in there for a lady.
Wait, what about, fucking, what's the dude's name? Begins with a B. He fights Hercules, or was going to fight Hercules.
Brando?
Brando's wife.
Yeah, she's in it, but not...
Okay.
She's in like 2 episodes.
Yeah, it's not... And she's just, again, a wife.
She's just
subcategory mother.
All the women are...
Subcategory mother.
They're all like super emotional caregiving women. There's nothing beyond that. Even the one that is fully fleshed out, the Adam's sister.
Uran?
Mainly spending the whole time yelling at people to stop being sad.
Yeah.
So anyway, I thought that was interesting and definitely worth pointing out.
Yeah, thank your wife for me and our audience.
Because it is 2023, and although this is based on a manga from the mid-aughts, you know, they could have... I know they made some changes in characters and stuff. They could have probably shoehorned one in somewhere.
I mean, there is no reason that... like at least 1 or 2 of the 7 robots of mass destruction couldn't have been women.
Yeah. But, you know, that's not what they went with. So there we are.
No, it is not what they went with.
Not a lot of, I mean, it's hard to say what races are represented because pretty much
everybody looks like anime people.
Everybody looks like anime people. They're jumping all over the world in any given episode.
Constantly.
Everybody looks and sounds the same.
Yeah.
Except Keith David. He sounds like Keith David.
And he, as I recall, he was the only name I recognized in the credits.
You probably don't recognize him, but Sungwon Cho does the voice of the original Murderbot, who's all broken. I can't remember his name.
Brow,
yeah.
Brow 1589.
And Sungwon's a YouTuber. He's very funny. He got his start on Vine. He has some hilarious Vines, like 7-second things, and also a voice actor. And I was happy to see him represented. In fact, it might have been a tweet of his that initially put this show on my radar. But yeah, fellow content creator. Call him just like us.
Yeah, he's exactly the same.
10 million followers. Yeah, sure, whatever.
That reminds me. I looked up Oppenheimer this past week, and through that got to Fat Man and Little Boy, the 1989-ish Paul Newman, John Cusack vehicle, also about the Manhattan Project. Right. And one of the things I saw in the trivia for it was that this is Dwight something. I don't remember his last name. This is Dwight something's first movie role. And I was like, and it like through the trivia, it popped up a couple of different times. You know, how IMDb trivia is, and people just keep writing the same shit over and over again or tying in unrelated points.
Sure.
And I was like, who is this person? They're acting like I should know. They're acting like this is Brad Pitt's first movie role. And I looked at him and, oh, this guy has done like this movie and video game voices. A billion video game voices and nothing else that I have seen. Okay.
That's interesting.
It's fun. It's funny
Some
when
of them
you
get famous within their niche. I mean,
yeah, it's funny when you run into people who like. I think this guy might be hyper famous in fucking animation voices, and video games, and I have never heard his name, never heard his voice.
Yeah, well, I mean, fandoms are becoming more and more niche now because of the internet. So,
yay!
That's the way it's gonna be.
Yep. Death to the monoculture.
Can't tell if you're being sarcastic or not.
I don't know. Does it matter? Honestly, I can never tell at this point.
Okay. Sarcasm and reality have merged.
I mean, you know, I'm too goddamn Gen X for like.
I feel like you and I are the same age. Basically, you're like a year younger than me, but you definitely lean more Gen X, and I lean more millennial. Even though we're both on that cusp at the end of Gen X.
Yeah, I don't know. I've had way too many people. I've literally answered before when a number of people have asked me over time, "Are you being sarcastic or serious?" Like, I have no idea. I don't know. Best of luck.
Yeah, that's fair. Knowing you, yeah, that's fair.
Are you laughing? Then call it sarcastic. I don't know. Who can say?
Well, how are we going to do this recap? Are we going to...
Okay, first I'm going to introduce it with some important points. This morning I thought, oh shit, I should try to boil this down, and got 5 sentences in.
That's all we need.
Yeah,
Keep
sure.
it to a tight 45.
Okay. The 39th Central Asian War ended 4 years ago. It was kicked off by suspicion that Persia was developing advanced robots, but none were ever found by a UN inspection team. The war was mostly robot-on-robot violence, it seems. During this war, 7 robots of mass destruction were created. Now these robots are being hunted/destroyed, as well as the humans who were the UN arms inspectors.
Yes, that's a pretty good summation of the beginning. One other thing I wanted to point out about Pluto is its lore is kind of hard to follow.
It is. I'm
not saying it's bad. I enjoy it, a lot of it. It's just hard to follow.
Yeah, I the reason that I wanted to lay out some of that shit immediately was because it took until, I don't know, the 4th episode of the show before I learned the 39th Central Asian War ended 4 years ago. And
Same. I thought it was a long time ago.
It wasn't 20 years ago or something like that.
Because all the vets are robots, so they could be 40 years old or 3 years old, and you don't know.
And it seems, I don't know. It's, I don't know. There's a weird sense of time in this show.
Yeah. It's hard to tell where it exists in time. It appears to be on Earth.
Uh-huh.
A lot of the
Definitely,
countries mention are Earth countries. Some of them aren't.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. We've got Switzerland. Well, I don't know if they mentioned the countries properly.
I'm pretty sure they mentioned Germany.
Do they? Okay.
I feel like
I know they mentioned Dusseldorf specifically, cities.
Yeah, they definitely mentioned cities.
But I don't remember if
the Netherlands. A lot of the movie took place in places I just got back from, which was kind of weird.
Yeah, part of it was in Geneva, I think.
Yeah, a lot of it was in Tokyo. A lot of it was in Persia.
Yes.
Which I guess is Iran.
Yeah. Yeah. Or, I mean, one would assume.
Yeah.
I mean, ancient Persia was Iran, sort of.
And then they had mention of the United States of Thracia, which I think was supposed to be the U.S.
I would assume so.
They did show the White House at one point.
Yeah. Yeah, I would assume so, although Thracia was an opponent of Persia, 2,500 years ago. So it's again in kind of Middle East-ish.
It's confusing.
A little bit.
Try to link it to our real world, so maybe we should just avoid doing that. Another...
Except we do know that a teddy bear is running our foreign policy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we all know that. It's been the case since the Founding Fathers. He was one of them. Another thing I had problem wrapping my brain around was robots having children.
Yes. I finished the series with... I was going into the 8th or 9th episode thinking... boy, I hope I get an answer to this, and I'm still hoping I get an answer to how that works.
I get they were trying to impart the emotion of robots. It's just like humans; they want love, etc. But they would literally have babies that they adopt, and do robot babies just made and they just stay babies forever?
I am unclear on that.
I just feel like it's something they should have. I'm not asking to be spoon-fed answers. I like mystery. But that one in particular was really hard for me to figure out.
Yeah, there was there was confusion in my TV room as well about that. So the humans are allowed to adopt human children. No, they're robot children. Why are there robot children?
But the robots are also allowed to adopt human children like Brando did.
But yeah. Mystifying.
It is mystifying. Maybe we shouldn't think about it that much.
Yeah, maybe not. Okay, so the show starts showing a forest fire, which my note on this was a Godzilla? Because I literally didn't know anything about this going in other than I had vaguely heard it was an Astro Boy prequel. So,
that's all I had.
Yeah, it was not a Godzilla. It was a fight with Mont Blanc, who was, of course, a friend to children and experienced climbers alike.
Yeah.
He was a robot forest guide, park ranger? ? In Switzerland. And he's now dead. His scary robot, his weird-looking robot head is in the middle of a bunch of flames and stuff. It's not good.
I really like how this show starts. I always like a movie that starts with the death of a character, and then that character kind of exists throughout the property for the rest of the time.
Yeah, hangs over the rest of the show.
Yeah, I feel like that's a really good mood setter, and Mont Blanc seemed like a really interesting character that we never got to meet.
Yeah, and maybe maybe at some extent the nicest of the 7 robots, with the possible exception of
Epsilon Sunboy.
Epsilon, yeah.
Actually, the first half of this is really good as they're going through the murders.
Yeah, in retrospect, I also really like the back half of the episode, but when I was watching it, I was just going, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah, it got really anime-y.
Yeah.
Or maybe just Japanese-y, not to paint a whole culture, but you play the Final Fantasy games and they're awesome, but they also get a little confusing. As you
they also get a little Japanese-y. Yeah. They're following narrative rules that we don't have, just as I'm sure they have trouble with some of our shit going, I don't know, that's really American, man.
Yeah.
So there's this crashed robot. We don't know anything about it, except that he was a friend to children and experienced climbers alike.
The two genders.
Yes. Yes, exactly. And then we cut to this blonde guy whose name is Gesicht. He's the main character of the show. I mean, as much as there's a main character. Yeah.
Kind of. Probably has the most screen time.
Yeah. He's murder police with the European police, or Europol. And he is investigating a murder of a supporter of international robot laws. And then we find out he has a gun arm, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And like this guy's place, this supporter of international robot laws place is like completely fucking destroyed. And there is absolutely no evidence of a person being there. So he was theoretically killed by a robot.
Which, as part of the lore, robots cannot kill humans. Except for when they do.
Except for when they do. And this would be the first robot murder in 8 years. So, and also there's, I'm not sure I wrote this note poorly. If there's an implication or it was just me, maybe the same person also killed Mont Blanc. I think maybe it was just me reacting to the narrative of the show.
Well, I mean, they both had horns, like,
yeah.
So it seems likely that they were the same murderer.
Yeah. So Gesicht also has a wife. And I don't know, we see a flashback to him to what I, in my notes, referred to as flashbacks of body snatching? ?
Yeah, he has a lot of weird flashbacks as part of his Gesicht's thing.
Yeah. Sorry. Then, and there's also an unrelated murder of a robot cop on a highway nearby. And Gesicht delivers the robot cop's memory chip to the robot cop's robot wife.
Yeah. This is where the robot lore starts to get a little confusing.
Yeah, it's something. And he sees a clue in the memory chip in the last seconds of the robot cop's life. But then he goes to see Brow 1589, who is a robot serial killer.
Okay.
And the fun thing about Brow 1569 is that, or 1589, is that he's maybe the first robot to kill a person, and the last robot to kill a person, and he is now trapped sort of in a state between life and death almost, like speared to this fucking wall. And he was, I don't know, a thing that they draw out over the course of the next few episodes is that everybody analyzed it, like, how could this artificial intelligence go so wrong, and what led it to break and kill a person. And nobody was ever able to find, like, the artificial intelligence was in perfect working order.
Yeah.
So, go ahead.
Wasn't it also established that he was one of the 8? Like,
yes.
He was one of them that was capable of being a weapon of mass destruction.
Yes. Although he predates the others, I'm not entirely certain of the timeline.
Yeah, he's basically supposed to be this old...
Scary.
He's a T-1000 as opposed to a T-700 as opposed to the T-1000s or something. Yeah. He's scary, and that's why I don't know why they didn't just destroy him, but it definitely looked cool. He's all broken and shattered in a cave.
Yeah. And eventually it turned out that his artificial intelligence was working perfectly, to which my thought was, well, yeah, I mean, his artificial intelligence was able to recognize that, some people need killing.
Yep.
I mean,
they didn't get into who he killed, did they?
No, not at all. I wish they had.
I know, I'm curious.
Yeah, because, I mean, there are some people out there, I don't think I'm going out on a limb here. There are some people out there who need killing. So good for Robot. Okay, and then so Gesicht talks to him, tries to figure out, like, does Brow know anything about it? It's like built up like a Hannibal Lecter thing. Like,
right,
Brow is
that's
going
perfect.
to,
yes,
Brow is going to help him solve this. And Brow mentions that basically There are 6 robots of mass destruction left after Mont Blanc died, including counting those in the room, which is the first implication, and we never get, or it takes a long time to get confirmation that Gesicht is one of these robots of like mass destruction.
Yeah, I did pick up on that and assume that he was from that point on. But yeah, it's never confirmed until much later.
Yeah. And then there's this weird fucking scene of a fox looking at Mont Blanc. I don't know. It's weird. It was anime shit.
Yeah, they had to fill a whole hour.
Yeah. And then we cut to the back half of the hour where, like, unexpectedly, we're like, okay, we're leaving this robot serial killer. Okay, here's a fox looking at Mont Blanc, doing woods stuff. And then we go to this castle in, I don't remember, somewhere maybe Hungarian. And
this is 2 weeks ago. I can barely remember myself.
Yeah. So we meet a guy named Professor Duncan. Nearly every human in this program has the first name Professor.
Yeah, they're all scientists or doctors.
Yeah. So Professor Duncan is a composer, and he gets a new robot butler. Apparently, he fired the last one. The robot butler's name is North Number 2. And he seems like a really nice robot. He just wants to buttle.
Yeah, this I really like this episode. I also like completely called where it was like there was no surprises in this episode.
Yeah.
But I thought it was delivered pretty well, and it was almost completely standalone from the... I mean, it was related, obviously, to the series, but it had nothing to do with any of the other characters for almost the whole thing, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. There might be something related to it if we went back and watched it again.
Yeah, I think like the first 10 minutes are with Gesicht, and then it cuts to this mountain and seems like a completely different story happening. Or is this episode 1 still?
This is still episode 1. Yeah.
I thought that was a whole different episode, but no, it is episode 1.
No, and that's why I was fucking confused.
Yeah, the first episode is like, an hour and 10 minutes or something. It's really long.
Yeah. Professor Duncan gets a new robot butler named North Number 2. He seems like a really nice robot butler. He just wants to, like, hang out and buttle, and then he eventually, over the course of the 35 minutes we spend with him, wants to learn how to play music.
He wears a cape. That's important.
Yeah. He wears this big, long cape. And Professor Duncan is racist against robots.
Really doesn't care for them, seems like, yeah.
Yeah, especially robots of mass destruction, because he's like, why don't you go murder more people?
Yeah.
Or why don't you go murder more robots or something?
That's another thing I had trouble with. I'm sorry. I want to say once again that I liked this show, even though I'm talking a lot of shit. The lore is just really confusing sometimes, and I can't figure out why the war... It was only between robots, because robots can't kill humans.
As far as I can tell, yeah, that's what I don't know.
You got to put yourself in the brain where in this world, robots aren't machines. They are another sentient race of creatures. And so, and they do a good job of getting that across. It's just, it's hard for the 2023 human brain to get used to, I guess.
Yeah. So, eventually, like, there's a bunch of friction, and Professor Duncan, who sounds like he's voiced by Malcolm McDowell, though I doubt he is. I never actually looked that up.
No, it's really hard to look up on IMDb who voices who.
Yeah.
IMDb's set up.
Oh, wait. Let me see the episode guide real quick. Yeah. IMDb used to be so great and easy to...
It's an awesome website.
Okay.
Everything in shitifies.
Okay. Oh, Professor Duncan was voiced by Ron Botita.
Botita.
Who has also been a voice on The Mandalorian. And, he a lot of fucking ADR and voice work. Cool.
I was looking, one of the voice actors who was in 7 episodes, Michael Sorich, was also a voice in the original Ghost in the Shell.
Ooh. Okay, so, sorry. We got distracted by that.
Yeah, that's why these episodes run long. I could edit it out, but I won't.
Yeah, why would you do that? Seems like a lot of extra work for you.
I know.
So eventually North Number Two and Professor Duncan become friends. There's this backstory of Professor Duncan, blah blah blah. He's a fucking genius film composer. I don't know, doesn't matter. North Number Two, eventually a tornado shows up and is coming towards the house, and North Number Two goes to defend the professor. And North Number Two is an insane looking fucking weird insect robot weapon. And fighting clouds. It's kind of a crazy fucking reveal when his cape finally comes off. Because it does look insane and problematic.
It makes sense that he covered it and was a little bit of ashamed of it. He had a little body shame going on.
Yeah. And
his crazy murder body.
Yeah, his body is only for murder.
Yes.
As opposed to pretty much all the other like robots of mass destruction we saw where they just have people bodies mostly.
Yeah, other than Mont Blanc, who's this weird giant thing.
Yeah.
North Number Two looks like he was built for a weapon of mass destruction.
Yeah. And he had a lot of guilt over things he did in the Robot War. But he eventually he sacrifices himself fighting clouds and lightning.
Right after their friendship had blossomed.
Yeah. For what we think is to save the professor.
Yeah.
Then later it turns out the whole point was just to kill him.
Yeah.
But then we cut back to Gesicht, and he runs into Atom on the street, Atom being Astro Boy, and that's it. It's the end of the episode.
Yeah. I really liked the North Number Two old man storyline.
I really did too, although, like I said, it just fucking threw me for a goddamn loop. Like, what the fuck are we doing here?
Yeah. It did feel out of place. But it also accomplished its goals of like showing that these robots have human emotions. They have PTSD. They have that the robot wars, or the Pan-Asian Wars, or whatever it's called.
The 39th Central Asian War.
Oh, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Even though it was between robots, it was hugely devastating.
Yeah, I think at some point the number comes up that he killed 10,000 some odd robots in a single battle.
Yeah. I think the whole point of the story was to show the humanity of the robots, which I think is like maybe they could have meshed it together better, but I think having North Number Two and Mont Blanc be the first two to go really sets the stage for what these robots are, because they're very obviously robots as opposed to all the others, and they are very different. They serve different roles, you know?
Yeah. I think I honestly would have, I think I would have gotten on with this better had there been another title sequence between it and the Gesicht stuff at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Like just to firmly signal, okay, we're doing a change in tone. I would have been like, oh, okay, so that was, Gesicht goes and sees Brow 1589, whatever, and then, end of episode, beginning of new episode, something totally different. I'd go, okay, we're doing one of these, kind of tone pieces episodes. God, I apologize.
I agree. I know there's probably problems adapting manga, and this is probably one of those things that worked better on the original page.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have now gone over the pilot, and I think we'll just in the interest of time, we're going to hustle through some of the following episodes a little quicker.
Okay, so number one, we are introduced over the course of the next 5 episodes-ish to the other robots of mass destruction. As we established, Gesicht is one, although he never did destruction. He sat out the war.
We know of.
Yes. He sat out the war. Epsilon is another one. He is solar powered and has the power of photon energy, ? Whatever that means. He also set out the war because he's a pacifist.
But for some reason, he got a lot of shit for that, and Gazik didn't. What was
Yeah,
Gazik's excuse?
I am not 100% certain of that.
I really like the name Gazik, by the way.
Yeah. And then there is also Adam, who is Astro Boy, who is a robot in the shape of just a fucking 8-year-old.
Yeah. Who still has to go to school like an 8-year-old.
Yeah.
Forever, I guess.
Yeah, apparently. Why not? He also was not in the war, but I think that's because
he was like a diplomat. He served in a different capacity, but he was definitely involved.
Okay, I think I got the impression he maybe came online or something just at the end of the war and was important for the peace process and uniting the world around this adorable little boy robot.
Yeah, something like that.
There's also a robot named Brando, who is a big, beefy, fucking Greek guy.
Yeah.
Who now fucking fights in cages.
Yeah.
And his closest ally, frenemy,
rival fighter,
Hercules, who is also a cage fighter. Let's see, is that all of them? Okay, so
yeah, the only other one,
2, Mont Blanc.
The only other one of note is Adam's sister, who isn't one of the 7.
Yes,
but still pretty powerful in her own right.
Yes, and she is an empath.
Yeah, basically.
Not
sure how that works, but not sure how anything works in this world.
Honestly, I don't know, man. I mean, I don't have anything to tell you. Something is killing these super powerful fucking robots. We eventually find out it's a thing with horns. Mm-hmm. And it appears in a tornado. This is somehow linked to the UN arms inspection team who went to Persia right before the war and somehow triggered it. Shortly after they found a giant fucking underground graveyard of robot bodies that didn't work or were busted and had no intelligences in them.
Yeah, it was a mass grave of robots.
At the same time, Gesicht is having to deal with and this starts, I don't know, episode 4-ish?
Yeah.
Episode 3. Gesicht is having to deal with this guy who is in the basically anti-robot Ku Klux Klan.
Yeah, the Humanist Poly Club.
Yes, that's what I related it to in my notes, but assumed that nobody in our audience. Well, not all of our audience. Definitely some of our audience. Yeah.
It's a racist group organization in Shadowrun lore.
Yeah. There's also a bunch of anti-robot racism. Let's see. So, fuck, the goddamn Gesicht plot is...
The Gesicht plot is a way of showing Gesicht's past. Yeah. Going episode by episode is maybe pointless, but we could go death by death of these...
Okay.
Of these robots.
Sounds good. Episode 2, Brando dies.
And is introduced.
He does cage matches. He's got 5 adopted kids.
He's a nice guy. He's a gentle giant, although he seems pretty short, actually. But he's a dangerous... I didn't know he was a robot until pretty deep into his introduction because he seems so human interacting with his kids.
Yeah, there's absolutely no reason to think that he is a robot until, Gesicht says, but you're one of the robots of mass destruction or whatever.
Yeah.
Or maybe it was in a flashback. Not important.
This is hard to recap because a lot of
it really is.
The important info is dumped in these flashbacks and...
Yeah, well, and it's just all spread through the entire fucking series.
Yeah.
He seems to have some understanding of what Brando seems to have some understanding of this tornado that is killing both robots and the UN weapons inspectors peoples as a consequence of the war. So he drives out to the middle of nowhere with his like cage fighting body.
It's also important to note that he was like a really close friend of Mont Blanc because he was going to Mont Blanc's funeral. He was very fucked up by that murder.
Yeah.
Which is what leads him to try to take on this robot murderer by himself.
Yes. Oh, and by the way, the robot murderer is Pluto, the main character.
Yeah, I also wanted to like
title character.
Like what percentage of the episodes ended with the word Pluto? Like I think at least half of them.
That is a good question, and yeah, you're probably right.
And I called it a couple times. I'd like look over at my wife and say Pluto, and then on screen they'd say Pluto.
Yeah,
and then the credits would roll.
I was wrong. I forgot. Brando is in Istanbul.
Oh, right.
Hercules is in Greece.
Yeah.
So Brando's funeral is at the Blue Mosque, which is nice.
Yeah.
We see this scary demon thing with horns in this tornado. And eventually Hercules, after the fight is over, finds his memory chip and arms posed like horns, which had been the thing with Mont Blanc in the first episode.
I liked this episode. I liked the scene where he's like kind of narrating the fight to all the other robots over their robot Wi-Fi, and everybody's rushing to try to help him, but nobody can get there in time.
Yeah.
And he does enough damage that he thinks he kills the thing. Turns out he doesn't, but everybody assumes at this point that that Pluto is dead. But the whole scene, like they do a really good job of making you like these robots.
Yeah. Yeah. They seem just as human as the human characters, which is, makes sense. Like we get introduced very explicitly at this point to, all these robots have PTSD, like the ones who fought in the war.
I guess we need, it's hard to break your mind. Like you think of Neuromancer and Count Zero, where you were talking about the AI and how they have completely alien motivations, and you can't understand what an AI wants,
Yeah.
And this is not what this story is. This story, the AI are just different types of humans, and that's what's so hard to get across, to get used to.
Yeah, this is a much more, in my mind, fantasy version of AI.
Yeah.
But, who knows? Where, they're just people who happen to have metal bodies, basically.
Yeah. Some of them were made by other people.
Yeah. Okay, so he dies. Then, episode 3, we've got a tornado that fucks up a circus truck and frees 5 big cats that are about to eat a kid. Then the little kid is saved by a little girl robot named Uran, who is Adam's little sister.
One of 2 girls.
Yes.
And unfortunately, character's fine. Very obnoxious.
Yeah.
In her longer scenes.
Yeah, I assume that character has something to do in, I don't know, sequel mangas?
Oh, yeah. Well, she's definitely an Astro Boy because I've seen pictures of her.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they had to put her in.
Yeah. All right. At this point, we're introduced to a guy named Professor Abula, who I initially misheard since I was watching it with dubbing because I can't take notes and read the screen at the same time.
And I was doing it because I can't read at all.
Yeah. I initially
I'm sorry I wasn't clear. When we saw Ghost in the Shell, Josh was dictating.
Yeah, I was narrating the whole thing to him.
Very annoying to the people around us, but, it
I'm
works.
Sure. Yeah, it works for us. Look, what are you going to do? When I first watched this, it took me until like 3 episodes later to realize the guy's name wasn't Professor Ebola.
I didn't make that connection, but
because I think in the first scene, maybe it was said a little weird or something.
yeah,
Because I knew it wasn't Abdullah. That's different.
yeah.
But I heard Ebola. So his name is actually Abdullah. And he's the smartest man in Central Asia. And the last person to see this new guy named Tazaki, I think, who was a human robot rights lawyer alive.
Is this the guy, the cyborg?
Yes.
Okay. It is implied and stated, I think, that he is
Eventually, yeah.
mostly metal, but I'm like, this makes it cyberpunk. It's not just robots and humans. We have an actual cyborg.
Yeah, this guy is like, well, at this point, as far as we know, the guy is a human brain inside a robot chassis.
Yeah.
Close
enough for me.
Yeah. And so there's been another murder of one of these UN arms inspector guys who died in like a tornado-ish thing and now has horns hanging up in the trees. It's weird. Mm-hmm. And then we find out that Gesicht and his wife planned a trip to Tokyo 2 years ago and never took it.
Yeah.
But instead they have a bunch of memories of Spain, I think it was. And a whole lot of photos, like an unnatural number of photos of their memories of Spain.
Yeah. So Gesicht is having trouble processing all this carnage he's seeing. So they're going to take a vacation. And when they call to make plans to go to Tokyo, the lady on the phone says, "Oh, you're going to Tokyo again," basically. Yeah. She just went a couple years ago. They had no memories of that. They started looking. They had photos of their trip, but it was too many photos, and that triggers something in their robot brains that shit ain't right.
Yeah. So it turns out that the director of Europol deleted/manipulated some of Gesicht's memories somehow. We don't know why or how until 7 episodes from now.
And this is brought to his attention by Gesicht's handler, repair guy.
Inventor.
Yeah. Who's an important character as well.
Yeah, I did not realize that until like this episode, I think.
Yeah.
Because he had appeared in the previous 2, but he just acted like a tech guy.
It turns out he's one of the people that was on the fact-finding mission, they keep calling it.
Yeah.
Which means he's a target.
Yeah. So
I don't know if this is making any sense the way Eureka. I guess if you watched it.
The thing is, it doesn't make any goddamn sense the way we're doing it, and that's why, like I said, I tried to start sitting down and like doing a streamlined version of the plot, and it is fucking hard.
Yeah.
So this is the point at which the clan member gets introduced.
Right.
Because we cut to just out of nowhere a suburban house. And this guy's going about his business and like his kids are going off to school. And then his wife says something about how, well, it's been 3 years. I guess you should go get your brother's body. So he goes and reclaims his brother's body. And this guy's name is Adolf, which is not. Yeah, don't worry about that.
Pretty on the nose.
Don't worry about that. It's not a hint. And apparently his brother was shot to death by the cops, and there is something shocking in the coffin.
Yeah. He's just meat.
Yeah.
One thing about the whole Gesicht storyline, I think it's important to note, is that at some point this show is going to transition from a mystery to like a pretty standard who's killing all these people mystery to a thing about feelings and emotion and what it means to be human. Hatred, and the power of hatred and what that means. And so they have to set this up in the meantime. But it seems weird when you're watching it, kind of.
Yeah, there's a lot of drastic fucking tonal shifts.
Yeah.
Throughout it. Let's see. And at this point we establish that Gesicht is made of zirconium alloy,
People just can't make up names for futuristic metals.
No, they really aren't very
like
good at
in
it.
anything. Zirconium, unobtainium. It's embarrassing, guys. Come on.
I mean, I will give James Cameron credit for unobtainium is a joke.
I know
I mean,
it's a joke.
And it's a joke, it's a long-standing joke, long before the Avatar movie.
And if you're in on the joke, that was pretty funny, but not many people are.
Yeah.
It sounds like, it just sounds dumb if you aren't in on the joke.
Yeah.
James Cameron, whatever happened to that guy?
Unclear. We'll never cover him on this show.
Never.
Oh wait, no, we already did. Fuck.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Let's give up.
Yeah, let's do it. All right, episode's ended. Bye. Don't get off our Patreon. Wait a minute. I want your money.
So we can go see Ghost in the Shell, because that's about what it bought, I think.
Yeah, probably. Okay, so we established at this point that Gesicht is made of zirconium alloy, and he's the only thing that could fire the anti-tank round that killed Adolf's brother. So
Adolf knows Gesicht killed his brother.
Yeah. So then Hercules, the robot of mass destruction, goes and gets his old battle suit, and then he fights the sun, it seems. But it's not the sun, it's actually Epsilon.
Right, yeah.
He is a peacenik, and this is direct from my notes, Sephiroth-looking motherfucker.
That's exactly how I described. Who's this Sephiroth-looking motherfucker?
Yeah. And he was active during the war, but refused to fight.
Yeah, which got him a lot of enmity from his fellow bots.
Yeah, a lot of flack. But and I think it's later that we introduced this, he adopts like 11 children orphaned by the war and sets up an orphanage and only does like charitable shit.
Yeah.
And is like a super nice guy. So then Adolf goes and buys an anti-robot weapon, which is basically the exact equivalent to the anti-tank thing that killed Adolf's brother. Don't worry about it.
Also, Gesicht is supposed to be nearly indestructible, but Adolf just kind of bought this thing at a gun shop.
Yeah, it wasn't a big thing at all. It didn't seem like.
No, it was pretty easy for him to get it. I mean, they did say it was illegal, and he'd be.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay, so then there's a robot hobo, and Uran helps him.
Oh God, I forgot about that. Yeah.
So there's this robot hobo who's an amnesiac. And I wrote in my notes at this point, he's probably the scary monster thing.
Yeah, clearly.
And he paints like on the walls of this tunnel that he lives in, and makes flowers grow.
Yep.
Like he's all about flowers. And then we get Professor Abula, who sends a weird, scary, like the scariest thing in this show is this fucking weird, bald robot guy full of bugs.
Yeah, it's pretty creepy.
It's just upsetting. To retrieve the hobo robot, who is also Pluto.
The Hobobot.
Hobobot.
Hobobofet.
Where? Hobobofet? Where? What the fuck? Okay, so sorry, I got completely sidetracked. Uran eventually tells Pluto about this. Pluto's suspicious and brings both the Professor Ochanomizu, who is a nice guy.
Is that Adam's BFF?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, he's a nice guy.
Yeah. And the pigs, a SWAT team to capture the Pluto bot, Hobobo. And then I have the note all in caps, so I assume it must be direct quote, hatred system overload.
Ooh,
so we must have had a flash of Pluto's viewpoint during this.
Yeah.
And we get some lightning. They're lightning horns? ? Like the Hobobot gets struck by lightning. And it turns out that there was no computerized brain in the thing the whole time.
Yeah, no AI.
And the body belonged to a construction robot who was at a nearby site, and it wandered off like days ago.
Yep.
And then got taken over by Pluto.
So Pluto or something has the ability to hack robot bodies and take them over, basically.
Yes, to seize their ghosts in Ghost in the Shell terms.
Yep. Seize their goats.
Yeah.
And goat in the shell terms. It's a different movie. It's good. Don't just try it.
I would watch that.
I hope that goat from the witch is there.
Oh yeah, Black Phillip. Yeah,
that goat is probably the goat of goats, right?
I mean, it is kind of the goat. Yeah. Wouldst thou
right.
like to live deliciously? Yes, yes, I would.
Oh, the goat.
Now
Anyway,
that you mention it,
that joke's surely been made.
no, definitely not. That seems like something that you would come up with just exactly on the fly, and nobody has ever thought of before, especially not back in 2016 when that
Whenever the
movie
fuck it
came
was.
out.
Yeah. Anyway, continue. We don't have time to waste on bullshittery like this.
No, we don't. Okay, so let's see. Blah blah blah. Oh, Keith David shows up in episode 4. Turns out he's a guy named Tenmu. He's the guy who actually built Adam.
Kind of an early 80s Tom Waits looking motherfucker.
Yes.
To go with the Sephiroth looking motherfucker.
He's got this fucking pompadour and pointy fucking chin beard. Yeah.
Chin beard, yeah, and thin glasses.
Yeah.
Which he occasionally does the most anime thing you could possibly do and uses his middle finger to push his glasses further up on his nose.
Yeah.
Super anime move.
So we go through this whole thing. It turns out that Tenmu is the guy who actually invented Adam as a substitute for his actual human son who died. But
Adam's real shit at being his son.
Yeah, Adam fucking sucks because he's like too enthusiastic about things.
Yeah, he's like kind of happy, and this dude's son was apparently just depressed and
was cool.
Yeah,
is what you're saying?
Yeah. He hated his dad like kids are supposed to.
Yeah. So he's apparently the greatest genius in the world, I guess, Tenmu.
Yeah, it seems like everybody in this movie is either the most powerful killbot in the world or the smartest scientist that's ever existed.
Yeah, that's what and like I said, everybody in this movie, every human in this movie, their first name is Professor.
Yeah, definitely.
If you meet a character and they're not introduced as Professor, then they're a robot.
Some of my favorite moments in the show are just like the blue collar bots that just kind of pop on the screen.
Yeah.
And they're like, hey, you need me to do something? It's just like they're just living their life, doing normal people shit, but they're robots.
Predicting fucking weather or whatever.
Yeah, the weather robot's pretty fucking cool, actually.
Yeah, I did not expect the weather robot to have quite such a large part in the last 2 episodes, but he did.
Yeah, really weird looking, but I enjoyed him.
Yeah. Okay, so it turns out over the course of like I'm just gonna try and buzz through the rest of this. Yeah. Okay, in the meta plot. Okay, the big overarching plot. So we get some flashbacks of the war. Abula is a human guy who is this great fucking genius in Persia. He's trying to invent a robot that will terraform the desert, right?
Yeah, you're getting to like last episode shit already.
Don't worry about it.
Which is fine. It's fine.
I'm cutting back to like episode 4 in half a second.
Okay.
But Abula gets blown up in this robot war. How this is possible without killing humans, I don't know. No robots killed a human.
It seems like collateral, like accidental human killing is still possible.
Yeah.
Because like at one point, Gazik shoots a tank and they're like, if that tank had crashed, it would have killed lots of people. And
yeah.
So yeah, collateral damage. And a lot of kids apparently are killed or orphaned. So
yeah.
Weird lore in this show.
Yeah. Not important. Don't worry about it. But he was trying to invent this robot to terraform the desert.
Dune style.
Yes. They're trying to fucking dune it up. just trading that bitch. I don't know.
Shy halluting motherfucker.
Yeah. And then his entire family and almost, in quote marks, he was killed in the war. So he turned himself to evil, and it turns out that this robot that was to terraform everything is named Bora, which keeps the Bora, which keeps coming back in the series and nobody knows what it means.
I still don't think I fully understand.
Keep going. Yeah, I agree. Bora is also Pluto. I'm not sure,
but yet
why.
Not.
Yeah.
They were both made by this two different same guys.
It gets confusing. So we've got.
And there's a teddy bear. Don't forget. After all of this, there's a fucking teddy bear.
God damn it! I totally
Which really didn't need to be in the film. Like that. Like, not to get too far ahead, but the teddy bear died not by really any of the main characters. It really didn't need to exist.
Okay. Cutting back to episode 4, Adolf is trying to kill Gesicht because he's a non-robot nationalist because Gesicht killed his brother. Okay, I'm going to run through the rest of the Gesicht plot immediately.
Yeah.
Okay. So it turns out that what happened in the gap where he and his wife were going to go to Tokyo, Gesicht adopted a toddler robot who was going to the scrap heap to raise as their child with his daughter or with his wife. And then his daughter was one of the many, apparently, robots killed by Adolf's brother, who is a serial killer of robots.
Yeah.
And Gesicht lost his temper and had a hatred system overload.
Yeah. Very metal.
And blew up Gesicht's brother into just meat. Or blew up Adolf's brother into just meat.
Yeah.
And then this was all wiped from his memory by the director of Interpol. And they subbed in this fake Spanish vacation.
Yeah.
So Gesicht through this whole thing is trying to solve this mystery and isn't coming up with much in who is trying to kill who. And he also ends up as the bodyguard of Adolf.
Because Adolf had an assassination plot because the KKK of robots.
Yeah. The Grand Dragon.
Tried to kill Adolf for a reason I never really was sure about.
Because he was going to give him up, maybe? I mean, it was my assumption.
Yeah, I guess so. But then you find out, no, there's actually a lot of people that have reason to want Adolf dead because Adolf worked in the
reconstruction of Persia.
And he knew some shit that he wasn't supposed to know about the former leader of Persia, which is another character we should probably talk about. We could skip over him.
Who finally gets introduced in episode 6, maybe?
Yeah.
He's one of the Adolf is one of the guys who built the prison in which Darius I don't remember 14th or something,
I believe.
Yeah. Who was the leader of Persia is imprisoned in.
And while Adolf is telling Gesicht this as they're like bantering because Adolf liked to talk shit, Gesicht realizes a missing plot point in his mystery and figures some stuff out. I don't remember what it was, but it was important.
Fucking balls. Okay,
Meanwhile, cut back to... I'm just trying to rush it along a little bit.
Yeah, please.
Cut back to Pluto, who still has some robots to kill.
Yes. Episode 5, he goes to kill Hercules.
Right.
They have a big fight in, I don't know, the Black Sea? Question mark?
I think so, yeah.
Pluto's horns become tentacles, and they fight.
Hercules does better than anyone else so far, I believe.
He rips off an arm, at least.
He really fucks him up.
Wow, I apparently this spell corrected, and I have no idea what it was. Darius crayoning like Pluto.
Yeah.
Oh no, wait, we did have Darius drawing on the walls of his cell. Sorry.
Yeah, much like the hobo bot was doing in the underpass.
Yes.
Oh man, we're really going off the rails.
Oh god, this is okay. It all works out fine. Everything's happy. Great. Bye. Okay, so eventually we figure out that this is all some sort of long-term plot, kind of by Darius the 14th, who has been imprisoned for the past 4 years. For what reason? War crimes, but why it has taken 4 years for this evil plot to come to fruition, nobody knows. And it's never mentioned.
I think it's because they were waiting for Pluto to wake up, right?
Were they?
Or they're waiting for something to wake up. The one of because it's
Bora?
later revealed that the one of the robot. Oh, okay, we got to back up. I don't. That's getting
okay,
ahead
please.
of ourselves. Let's get back to was Hercules came before Adam? For some reason, I thought Adam came first, but you're the one with the notes, so I trust you.
Shit, did I miss Adam dying? Maybe I did. It's possible.
Well, there was a whole episode that was basically, I mean, they realized they can't just charge these people in their home, so they've got to lure them out, and either before or after Hercules.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. That was episode 4. Yeah, there is a tornado threatening Professor Echana Mizu's grandson.
Yes, and cool
his
dog.
Extremely cool robot dog.
Yeah, I love that dog.
Wearing fucking mirror shades.
Yes, that dog was smart, protected that kid, and yeah, I love that dog.
Yeah, and its name was Bobby. Why not?
Mm-hmm. And since Professor Echana Mizu and Adam are BFFs, Adam goes to help his grandson. Although the professor was weirdly cool about the danger his grandson was in and not sending Adam to protect. It seems like he kind of preferred Adam.
Yeah.
But Adam goes to help the grandson and
then dies at the hands of a tornado.
AKA Pluto. And I think that was before Hercules.
Yes, it was. That was episode 4. Hercules dies in 5.
Yeah. Hercules dies fighting in the sea, which only leaves Epsilon and Gesicht as the remaining superbots, right?
Yes. Well, and Uran, but maybe not a superbot. Who knows?
No, she's not a superbot.
Yeah.
And Bao or whatever the fucked up one's name is, but they don't ever seem to worry about him too much. He's pretty much out of commission.
Yeah. Apparently, if the spear that is pinning Brow to the subway tunnel, where he's imprisoned, is removed, he'll die.
I never caught that part, which makes the ending make more sense.
Yeah, he says that at some point, like they won't even just pull this spear out, which will kill me, or whatever. So fucking balls. There is so much bullshit in this. Okay, so at this point, we're introduced to a character named Sahad. Only in flashbacks. Sahad is a nice guy. He's a robot. He goes to Amsterdam to study botany. He wants to grow tulips.
We learn all this because Gesicht is traveling around finding this info.
Yeah.
Which was given to him by the clue from Adolf's stuff, I believe.
Yes, that sounds right.
Let's go with that.
Yeah, and maybe Darius, who bites his tongue off.
Yeah, that's right. He went and interviewed Darius. Man.
Yeah. And he also gets a memory chip from Hercules.
Yes, that's right.
Okay, Jesus fucking Christ. Okay, so this guy named Sahad was a really nice guy and a robot. He was a grad student. It ends up that he was invented by Abula to do this botany and terraforming to the Persian desert. Then he gets recalled, and this is all flashbacks to like during the war, by Abula, and eventually has his brain stuck in the Pluto robot after the war? ? It's, again, I'm not sure of the timeline stuff here.
I think the timeline I can't get that far ahead. Keep going.
Yeah. So we find out that okay, so we followed the G6 plot up through where I said earlier. He shoots, like in his flashbacks, he shoots Adolf's brother. Feels really bad about it. Director wipes his memory, whatever. As he's trying to chase down clues, he runs into this little robot, which he has run into before, named Ali, who sells flowers. Who then
it was a missing arm, just like his baby robot did.
Yes. Who then shoots him with a cluster cannon.
His only weakness.
Kills him. Yes. Which it probably wouldn't have been a fatal problem, except for the fact that he had already saved Adolf from being
I was about to say, before that, he saves Adolf's life from another cluster cannon where he kind of takes an indirect hit from it, which weakens his system.
Yeah.
And makes him vulnerable to this attack. But Adolf kind of forgives him in the end.
Yeah.
I actually really liked that scene too, because they're driving and being chased, and he ejects Adolf out of the car, and then just grabs Adolf's wife and child and just like uses his body as a roll. And then Adolf's seat like has this instant foam airbag situation. Yeah. I thought it was pretty cool. I think we need to work on that.
Yeah. Seems like a good idea. There are motorcycle jackets that have like,
cool.
Not sure exactly how they're triggered, but they have like inflatable neck brace things to keep your head from flopping around on the end of your body.
That's cool.
If you're in a wreck, yeah.
One thing I did like about this is how they peppered in future technology without ever drawing attention to it or making it like, like a normal movie would be like, ooh, look at this fancy fucking thing. It's just, it just looks like their life is clearly in the future. They have things to aid them. And I enjoyed that about it. I enjoyed a lot of just like the world design and art. I guess we can talk about that at the end. We're busy enough with...
Oh, God. Yeah, we are. Okay, so G6 also is searching an agricultural facility in the Netherlands, which is where Sahad had been. This is before, sorry. I got to his death ahead of time. So it's this ag facility underground in the Netherlands, which I don't think there's a lot of underground in the Netherlands. I mean, not a ton.
They did nail the fields of tulips, though.
Yeah, they certainly did. And eventually finds Pluto, the giant, scary robot. And there's a big cave collapse where Pluto kind of doesn't want to fight. And G6 also doesn't want to fight.
He's also super wounded from his fight with Hercules. Pluto is. But
Hercules
has the chance to kill Pluto.
But G6 is like, this guy doesn't. I mean, this guy's all fucked up. He's just the Sahad brain who's been all fucked up by being stuck into this kill body.
Yeah. So he lets him live and he walks away. And like you could tell G6 is like, and he call his wife and like, I'm done. We're going to Tokyo. We're taking a break.
Yeah.
And that's when, of course.
And maybe we'll adopt a kid.
It's so obvious that it's coming because G6 has like made peace with everything. So of course he's about to get blasted. It's
very much the Vietnam movie soldier showing picture of his sweetheart. She's the only thing I live for, man. We're going to get married as soon as I get home.
Right. Yeah. Or it's my last day on the force or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah. Poor G6.
Yeah.
Too good for this world.
So he gets his
so much more to cover.
I know.
I really don't want to two-part this.
Yeah, I don't either. Okay. Oh, fuck. We're 2 hours in. Okay. So Epsilon's still alive. He's the only one. Okay.
I can sum up Epsilon's story really fast. Epsilon,
great. Do it.
I liked the character. He's a nice pacifist Sephiroth looking motherfucker. He's got an orphanage, and basically you're just showing. They spend a lot of time showing how nice of a guy he is. But there's this one child in his care that was super traumatized from his time in the war, And Epsilon always kind of has to treat him extra special because most of the other kids are just happy and having fun.
Yeah.
So the gist of it is, while shit is going down, Pluto and what you come to find out is Pluto's master, Ebola,
Yes.
decided that they're in on this together. They got to kill Epsilon. So first Pluto tries to go at him directly. He loses because Epsilon is that badass. You learn that Epsilon is pretty much the biggest badass out of all these badasses, which is probably why he set the fight out, because he knew he could really do some damage.
There are a couple of scenes where it's basically strongly implied that Epsilon can be like, oh, I'm going to nuclear bomb you.
Yeah, and he would be fine and everything would be nuked.
Yeah, it's just Nuke City.
You also find out that Epsilon was involved with the fact-finding mission and was tasked with melting the scrap metal of all those bodies down that they'd found, which is where he meets little Vasily. Anyway, they use Vasily as bait. Somebody comes in, pretends to adopt him, but really they were just kidnapping him, taking him to Abula's place, and that's when Epsilon's I gotta go.
Which is apparently a creepy church in, like, Norway?
Yeah, it's pretty badass. But Epsilon's like, I gotta go save him, and at this point, Epsilon has this cool, like, security guard robot buddy, which I really liked, who was like, I'm gonna go with you, and he goes, you can't protect me. He goes, I know, but I can protect Vasily. And so they go together. Pretty much what you expect happens. They fight.
Yep.
Epsilon kind of has the chance to kill Pluto, but much like Gesicht hesitates and ends up getting his head removed by Pluto.
Yes. It's no good.
But he does save Vasily and the robot bodyguards, and they go back to the orphanage and hopefully live happily ever after.
Yes. At this point, Atom wakes up.
Yes. With help from Keith David.
Yes, with help from Keith David and Gesicht's final memories.
Yeah.
Because we have, for the past, 2.5 episodes, been hearing about how Keith David was hired by Darius the 14th and Abula to create the ultimate fucking robot. And the ultimate robot... Yes. The ultimate robot has 9 billion personalities, like the personalities of everybody on Earth. So the capabilities of everybody on Earth, I'm not sure how this tracks. I assume this makes some more sense if you're Japanese.
Yeah, basically the robot is so powerful it can choose its own personality, but it has so many options that it can't possibly parse all the data, and it gets paralyzed unless, for some reason, you insert some trauma in there, which forces its view, narrows down its options and allows it to choose.
Yes, exactly. Tenma eventually, Keith David, basically sticks Gesicht's final memories into Adam, who Adam is, at this point, fully physically repaired, but isn't just doing anything.
Yeah, he's having kind of the same... I never understood why Adam was going through the same situation as the super robot.
I think the point is that Adam is as advanced, or I think
Adam was the prototype, and it turns out that he is that advanced, and his experiences since being alive maybe has kicked him up that little last notch he had to be equal to this guy.
Yeah, or maybe the thing that allowed him to go forward was Keith David. Initially, it was Keith David's grief at the loss of his son.
And so when he was repairing Adam, he added this. Okay, yeah, it makes sense when you watch it. Now that I'm thinking back, I think he did. Yeah. They did do this in the dialogue. Keith David / Tenma explaining the situation.
So
we should never do anime ever again.
I know. This is fucking terrible. Anyway, next week we're doing fucking shit. I can't think of the goddamn name of it. The one with Vash the Stampede.
Trigun?
Trigun.
Yeah.
We're not doing Trigun next week.
We might sometime, though.
I mean, it'd be cool. I love Trigun. So Adam wakes up because he gets Gasik's memory chip and the last moments of Gasik's existence, which, depending on who is talking about it, is either just sadness and relief or intense hatred.
Yeah.
And we find out at this point that, oh yeah, the Earth is going to shatter.
Can I do another quick rundown too? Because it's basically coming out at this point. So it turns out Abula is Dr. Tenma's super robot. Abula's body, wasn't just his body was killed and his brain was preserved. He was completely killed. But his dying wish was to recreate me, I guess, as a super robot, which Tenma did. And then that was when he was paralyzed with all those different personality choices, which I believe is why it took 4 years to get where we are.
Okay. See, I was reading that differently.
I mean, I could be wrong, but that's what I believe is what took all that time. And then they introduced the hatred angle into Abula, which got him to wake up and become this super evil bastard bent on killing all these robots. And arms
and inspectors.
Don't forget, it's important to remember there's a talking teddy bear out there too.
Yes, let's see. Let me go back. Sorry, I have like one line because there's just one scene of a teddy bear. Okay. So the teddy bear first appears in episode 6.
Okay.
There's
talking to the president of basically talking to Joe Biden.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a teddy bear talking to Joe Biden. Don't worry about it. Not important. Okay, so end of episode 7. We find out that something is going on with the caldera under, or the equivalent to the caldera under Yellowstone National Park.
Yeah.
So it okay. So then at the beginning of episode 8, we have this weird historic allegory about gold not bringing happiness. And it turns out to be a tour guide giving this information and this weird story. And it turns out that the Bora robot, who is some sort of giant robot.
The Bora has been hinted at throughout the whole show in flashbacks, mainly of this giant Godzilla creature in the clouds.
Yeah, until this moment, it was never clear at all that it was different than Pluto.
Right. Vasily kind of gave you Vasily was traumatized and had seen it and was singing songs that kind of made it
extremely
like
metal
something.
Songs.
It isn't what you think. Like Pluto isn't how he appears.
Yeah.
But I am so at a fucking loss to the difference between Pluto and Bora and Dr. Abula, the three which are basically it's so confusing.
Yeah. Okay. I think the way it breaks down in total is that the dominant personality in Pluto is Sahad.
Right.
Is that right?
The robot meant to bring flowers to the desert.
Yes. So once we establish that Abula is a robot, the dominant personality is the transferred personality without organic matter of Abula. And as far as I can tell, I don't know that Bora has a personality.
I feel like Bora was the actual robot that was going to do the terraforming, where Sahad was like
the program,
like
sort
they
of
worked together.
I don't.
Maybe Bora was supposed to be the body, and Sahad just had this human body to go to school and learn about botany.
Yeah,
and then,
kind of like they had the different cage fighting bodies.
Yeah,
Hercules and
then they stuck him in this super advanced Pluto Destructo body. But yeah, Bora's kind of like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man being thrown at the end.
I exactly used that metaphor.
I mean, for he looks like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
Yes.
But he is like just this new big bad we have to fight at the last second when we thought we were doing something else.
Yeah. So Bora is burrowing through the center of the Earth. to wake up or cause the eruption of the Yellowstone super caldera.
Yeah. Because we found out the caldera will probably be fine if left alone, unless it's tampered with. But then when Adam wakes up fully, he realizes that Bora has like a neutron bomb inside of him or something.
Yes, an anti-proton bomb, which Adam also invented? Question mark?
I don't know, man.
It's not. It yeah. Okay.
The point is that since Adam's awake now, he's the only one of the original 8 left, or 7, and he's the only one that can stop this guy.
Oh, and also the president of the United States is talking to this teddy bear, saying...
Who explains the evil plot.
It's all going according to plan, that no robot can threaten the United States again. And the teddy bear is like, sure, whatever you say, boss.
Yeah.
Which, okay, fine.
Which turns out, let's just spoil it, that turns out that it's the teddy bear's master plan not to protect the United States, but to end human life.
Yeah.
So that robot life can...
Robot domination over the Earth.
Yeah.
Is the goal here. Okay, so Adam wakes up, draws this anti-proton bomb thing, and is still just like borderline catatonic, is kind of going around.
Yeah, but he finds a snail, processes all his trauma in 30 seconds, going through Gazik's memories, and is back to normal.
Yes, and then is back to the cheerful, wonderful boy who is trying to be the hero for everyone.
Yeah. Which is realistic. They're robots. They can process trauma much faster, I guess.
Yeah, sure. Didn't
work for North number 2.
Or Gesicht.
Or
Brando.
But Adam's special.
Hercules was doing fine, right? He seemed like a totally normal, good guy.
He accepted what was happening, Yeah. We have friends like that. Some of them did better with their war experiences than others.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, this is the point at which I'm like, I wrote in my notes, Weatherbot has become a huge part of this.
Yeah, Weatherbot is explaining what's happening.
Because earlier, like episode 4 or something, Epsilon called Weatherbot to see what was going on with the weather because Epsilon is sun powered.
Yeah, Epsilon needs the sun.
Yeah. And it turns out that Weatherbot is vital to explain the plot to us in this last episode.
Yeah. I do love the little less important bots like Weatherbot and that bodyguard who helps out Epsilon. And
yeah. Okay, so let's see. Bora's going to basically destroy 90% of the human life on the planet. We get a flashback to the end of the war with Abula and Darius hatching this plot. Like, okay, the war's over, but we'll have our revenge.
Yeah.
So
it's a lot of different people at play. You got Abula and Darius fighting for Persia.
Shit, man.
You've got the president of the United States of Thracia fighting for that. You've got our main good robots basically just fighting to help humankind. There's a lot of, and then you've got the teddy bear who just wants to kill all humans.
There's a lot of goddamn moving parts. And then we have Brow 1589.
He is important.
Adam goes to see.
I like how he's like an oracle throughout. Robots go to him for advice, basically.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Let's see. Then Adam goes to Helena, Gesicht's wife, and comforts her about Gesicht's memories.
And straight up fucking lies to her.
Yeah, doesn't reveal the gap in the memory or the fact that they had a robot child bot.
Yeah, which she seems to appreciate.
I guess.
It was weird. It was a weird scene.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know.
But, hey, at least we got a female talking for a little bit.
Yeah, and then 2 minutes later, we get another one. Because Pluto takes off to go fight Bora at the caldera, and Uran wants to go help, so Adam doesn't lose himself and become full of hatred. And the principal of their school, because they are, robots who are also children who go to school,
eternally,
reassures her that Adam is a good boy, so it's all fine. So
Adam is a little bit of a Mary Sue.
Yeah. And he fights Pluto, and he's about to deliver a killing blow.
Yeah,
and then
Pluto also went to the volcano.
Yeah. I forgot. I forgot that wasn't part of. I don't know, there's so much going on.
And he's going to defend it, and then he and Adam fight, and Adam's pretty clearly winning. Adam is pretty clearly the best robot now.
Yeah, is about to deliver the killing blow when he considers and flashes back to the 6 dead super robots.
Yeah, and they're kind of speaking in his head.
And Gesicht saying nothing comes from hatred but more hatred.
Right. And then it is also Mont Blanc's only line in the show. Adam.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. Then we cut to Pluto crying, having been beaten up.
Yeah, they both bawl their eyes out for a moment.
Yeah, Pluto is only Sahad now. And then they lay on the ground for like all day because it's dawning.
I guess they're waiting for the
Bora
Mr.
to
Stay
show
Puft
up
to get there.
Yeah. And I don't know. I guess they process their trauma through this.
Yeah. They bond.
So then Adam flies like super high and then crashes down into the volcano. And we cut to Tenma and Ochana Mizu. And Tenma says, "Even Adam cannot stop him now." And then we go to the teddy bear.
And Ochana Mizu is basically like, dude, you're a huge bummer. You have got to chill out with the negative Nancy bullshit.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Like, we've at least got to try, motherfucker, so shut the hell up.
Yeah. There's no way he can defeat Bora. Keith David is fucking great in this, by the way, just as he is in everything.
Tenmu's not a huge role, but he's very... He captures the screen whenever he's on it.
He brings the fucking heat for somebody who's introduced in episode 5 of 8.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's Keith David's voice is just unmistakable, man.
Yeah. Yeah, it's instantaneously like, oh, Keith David showed up for this? All right, I'm going to keep paying attention.
Yeah. No David Keith, though.
No, also true.
Too bad.
Yeah. Okay, so... we cut to the president hiding out with the teddy bear, at which point the teddy bear reveals that the whole point is that Bora is going to win, and that the president will be the teddy bear's slave for the rest of his life.
Yeah, the president's very cowardly. He's like, but I'll be safe down here, right? So it's okay. The teddy bear's like, yes, I'm saving you so you can be my slave for life.
Yeah, and the teddy bear has a fast artificial intelligence, I guess. It kind of looks like a giant tree trunk. I don't know.
Yes. What the fuck what is...
I don't know. Shut up.
I cannot figure out what it is.
I'm sorry. I can't get into this any further.
Okay, I'm sorry. Somebody listening, tell me what the teddy bear and his giant robot or his giant computer bank thing is. I couldn't figure that out.
Yeah, so Bora is a giant bibendum / Stay Puft. Bibendum being the Michelin Man.
Or tardigrade, what's the little
water
bear?
Yeah.
That's what we thought he was.
Yeah, sure. I buy that. So it turns out that in this volcanic caldera, Adam can't survive the heat and the fight long enough to disarm the bomb that Bora also is.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess.
So this is no good. And then Pluto shows up, and Pluto calls back his severed arm and horn.
I guess it makes sense how he can fight all these strong robots. He's got self-healing technology. Because how else would he survive with a fight with Brando, who seemed to be pretty badass?
Yeah.
We never described Brando's fight suit. It was fucking cool.
Yeah, it was cool. And just like some sort of weird roly-poly bug thing.
Yeah.
It was great. High quality.
Yeah. Going back to episode 3, but...
Yeah. 2, I think. Yeah, it's pretty great. So
shot flames out.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking awesome.
Actually, to quickly go back there, because
it was like an armadillo robot.
Yes, exactly. It was something I wanted to bring up when they cut to the fight scene. I don't know how they cut to Brando like in the cage match. I I don't know what it was, but it felt really real to me. Like the art and the sound combined did a really good job of making it feel like an arena fight. You know how sometimes you see stuff like that, especially in animation, and it feels small. The animation and sound in this show was very good.
Yeah, you heard it here first. Eric thinks that this show is better than UFC.
Yeah, I mean, I would rather watch it than UFC.
Me too. Yeah, I'm not gonna say that's wrong at all.
I would watch it all again than have to sit through one UFC fight.
So tiring.
Sorry, I don't care for it.
Yeah, just a bunch of guys cuddling,
covered in blood,
but not in like a sexy way.
Yeah, not in a hot way, in like just a violent way.
Yeah,
to be a pussy.
Anyway, on that note, so Pluto shows up to help and protect Adam.
Pluto protect and he attack.
Yes, he protect and attack. And he say, give Uran a message. Tell her I'm glad. And at this point I switched to all caps because he starts shouting.
Yeah.
We got to paint pictures together. It brought me such joy.
Yeah, that was kind of sweet.
And it was really sweet. I liked it.
Yeah, Pluto really enjoyed his time painting flowers on the underpass.
Yeah. And he gets the anti-proton equation from Adam and is thus able to disarm the bomb that is also Bora.
Yeah.
And he launches Adam back up to the surface
via his hand, his rocket hand. A lot of hands saving people in this show.
Yeah.
That's what Epsilon did too.
And then we get an abstract fight with the Michelin Man / Stay Puffed.
Yeah.
Then there's this nonsense fucking bullshit about the Peltier effect, where differing metals, super cooling, I don't know. Anyway, Pluto defeats Bora and saves the world.
There is an effect that kind of, I don't think they're super cool, but I had power go out to my garage because of, is it the Peltier effect? But, well, you can't put copper and aluminum and electricity together. They will eventually rot.
That's a different,
Okay.
Yeah, that's a different thing. So anyway, this nonsense saves the Earth and makes the Northern Lights powerful.
Yeah.
The president cries, Teddy Bear is angry.
And then
shit gets cool. Fucking Brow 1589 shows up.
Dragging himself through the hallway, grabs the president in a chokehold.
Yeah.
I guess he was invited here. The teddy bear is acting like he expected him.
Yeah. Is choking the president, then changes his mind because he gives this fun speech about how, I don't know, this is all bullshit, I guess. Then pulls out the spear that, as established earlier, would kill him if it's removed. Because he somehow managed to remove himself from the wall with the spear still intact.
Yeah.
And then launches it into the teddy bear mainframe thing. And then that's the end of that.
I think they were trying to say that all of Brow's interactions with Gazikht and Adam had kind of made him come around from his evil ways. And so he, in the end, saves humanity. It's kind of a Deus Ex Machina situation.
Yeah.
But it's cool.
Very literally a Deus Ex Machina situation.
Yeah.
Brow 1589 is a machine.
That's true. And he just kind of kills the big bad guy that nobody knew about anyway. But
and then we get the moral spelled out by Adam in a final scene.
Hatred's bad.
Yeah, we must end hatred.
I will say the moral of the show hit pretty hard given what's happening in the world.
Yeah, it's not. It's not fucking awesome.
Yeah. It's absolutely right. Unfortunately, it was a little simplistic.
I mean, maybe a bit boiled down, but sure. Yeah. I agree. Hatred is bad. And I say this as someone who hates a lot of shit and a lot of people.
Big hater.
Yeah, I am a huge fucking hater.
Man. Let's spend more time talking about it.
Gotta take a drink of my haterade.
Okay, get that
glug,
down.
Glug, glug, glug.
I think there's something on the second floor you need to pick up. You could feel free to.
Oh, I'm going to take the elevator.
There you go. Oh man, these jokes, they never get old.
They do not.
We did it.
We did. Yeah, that was definitely a tight 45.
Oh, man, it's about 2:15 now. We do need to rate. There are a few things I wanted to get into and talk
Do
about
it.
in
Go,
more
go,
depth,
go,
but I
go,
don't think we
go.
have time. I wanted to once again point out that it was pretty spectacularly drawn. I loved all the backgrounds and cityscapes.
Yeah.
Pretty much any time they were out in the world, it was very cool, very cyberpunk at a lot of moments.
Yeah, it turns out that this anime is pretty cool looking.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of the robots were very neatly designed. Like some of them were very human, some of them were completely abstract. It was
Yeah,
cool.
I really liked a couple of the more abstract fights, like
Yeah.
the final fight between Pluto and Bora, and I think it was the fight between Pluto and Hercules. Got
Yeah.
kind of fucking weird.
Yeah.
Like things you can only do in animation.
Right, exactly. I think I liked the whole Epsilon final scene where there was storming and then the sun came up and he could use the power of the sun and then he was trying to protect his friends on the ground. It was as far as all that stuff went, A plus. It's just the story and the anime shit that kind of bogged it down, wrapping it all up in the end.
I kind of feel like maybe they, like I was saying at the beginning, I think they maybe had a little trouble doing the direct adaptation from the manga if they were doing it like episode or volume to episode equivalent, because it took some turns that were unforeshadowed and like it could have been a much smoother road to where we got.
They could have eliminated a lot of characters. Like
Also true.
The teddy bear AI mastermind did not need to exist. It seems like it was only there to narrate to us the more confusing bits of the story.
Yeah.
And then like some of the characters I feel like could have been combined. Like we didn't even talk about Goji, the desert shaman or whatever.
Oh yeah. I very specifically ignored that.
The great Persian robot maker, which were all important to the plot, but
except they didn't actually exist.
Yeah. And the dual personality aspect of Ebola. I can't remember his real name now. All I can hear is Ebola. So there, all that stuff could have been streamlined. Who knows? Maybe it makes more sense in Japanese. That's the thing. All these translations, you never know.
Especially having just seen Ghost in the Shell subtitled versus dubbed,
and seeing how much difference that made. Yeah. So, I won't fault it too much for that stuff. It was an enjoyable series to watch.
Was overall. It cyberpunk though?
Well, that's a big question. There wasn't a lot of low life. There was a lot of high tech.
No, the closest thing to low life was Adolf's brother.
And then like some of the post-war stuff in Persia that they would show.
Oh, yeah, and Hobobot,
yeah. I like the scene when Gazikh went to Persia and like going through the bazaars and I just like the world hopping. They showed a lot of different places and I think captured them fairly accurately.
Yeah, I enjoyed that, and also it was annoying because
it made it hard to
very easy to lose track of shit.
Right, and that stuff would be a lot easier to follow in a graphic novel, I'm guessing.
Yeah,
but I feel like it hit enough of the notes.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't call this strong cyberpunk. I mean, it like. You know, one of the things that we've seen in a lot of cyberpunk is AI and can computers be people? And this has a lot of focus on that.
It does, but it's weird. It doesn't really ask that question. It just states the answer.
Yeah,
and
robots are people.
Backs it up over and over, which is a valid approach. It's just I'm so used to seeing that approach I'm so used to seeing the opposite approach.
Yeah.
That it makes it hard to it takes a while to see what they're doing, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, to some extent, despite the fact that one of the main characters had a hand that could turn into a gun, this is one of the, to some extent, least cyberpunk things we've watched.
Yeah, I mean, wouldn't say it is the least, but it's
it's
towards the bottom.
It's on the lower end. I mean, it has a bunch of the traits, but it's almost, I don't know, post-cyberpunk or like somewhere off to the left of cyberpunk.
Yeah, I mean, there is some dystopian aspects, like the 39th Pan-Asian Wars or whatever.
Yeah.
It's not a dystopia, but it is a fucked up post-war society. Like they bring up over and over how much this war has fucked up a lot of people.
Yeah.
So that's as close as we get to dystopia, because other than that, the world seems like a pretty nice place.
Yeah.
The cities are clean and beautiful, and there's gardens, and humans and robots are hanging out, and like there are pockets of hatred, but for the most part, everybody seems to get along pretty well.
Yeah.
So yeah, cyberpunk enough for our show.
Yeah,
if somebody was
cyberpunk
asking,
enough for consideration.
Yeah, if somebody was asking what's a good cyberpunk anime, this probably wouldn't make my recommendo list.
No, I think I'd probably go with Ghost in the Shell for that.
Yeah, I would, or Akira, or yeah. So let's rate it. What'd you think about the story of Pluto? What would you give it on a scale of 1 to 10?
I'm gonna go okay, because I liked a lot of individual elements. I just don't know if they quite hung together as well as they could have. Again, I think that's a sort of translation error from manga to TV. 6.5. 7.
7. I was going to go 7.5 because, yeah, I really enjoyed the mystery aspect that it started out with.
Yeah, at the beginning, Gesicht is fucking Harrison Ford, or as you might know him, Blade Runner from the movie Blade Runner, who drives a Cybertruck. Go ahead.
That's a reference for the time.
Yeah.
Yes, and I feel like it would have been just as compelling a story if it had been lower stakes, like not the literal end of the world.
I would have been happy to watch Gesicht investigating murders for 9 hours.
I think they made the stakes too high, and the meaning, the hate, the hate begets more hate, I think is a great meaning, and they did it pretty well. I just think they've tried to go too big with it. Like, the suffering of a small group of people is just as compelling as, the end of humanity. But so I think, and I gave it, instead of, I feel 7's a C, I feel like 7.5 makes it a C+.
Okay, fair enough. And C+ is the highest grade we give.
It's the highest grade you give. Influenz.
I got no fucking idea.
It's hard to say.
It's
this
either
is brand new.
1 million or 1.
Yeah, it's based on something that's highly influential to anime, and I've heard the manga. It's like multiple award winning, but we didn't read the manga. We watched the movie, so I'm tempted to just put an X in the column.
Yeah, put that down, or 5. I don't know.
5 would be fair too. I'm just gonna put X's.
Yeah.
I mean, it came out 3 weeks ago, so it's possible to judge. Prescience.
I don't know, man.
I think I'm going low. I'm going at like a deuce, because I am so confused about the lore of this world. I don't think it's possible for any of this shit to ever happen.
And I will go low because I'm pretty sure that AI will kill us before it ever enters a friendly young boy looking body.
I agree. So what's number are you giving it?
Fucking 2.
Yeah, that's what I gave it.
I don't know.
It's just not a world I ever see happening.
Yeah.
Style.
I don't know. It just looks like stuff.
Yeah, it's pretty, like, as anime goes, it's very realistic. Everybody had very big noses.
I definitely noticed that. And I took that to be an indicator that most of the people were supposed to be European.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Like the Japanese people were drawing these huge white noses.
Yeah, exactly. That was like, oh yeah, okay, so these people are definitely European.
But as we mentioned, some of the robots were pretty cool. Yeah. So I think it's fair to give it a 6.5.
Sure, I'll go with what you suggest there. There was cool looking stuff. There wasn't like wildly inventive shit other than North Number Two's robot body.
Yeah, we're not talking like Edge Runners style or anything, but it's
or fucking Ghost in the Shell shit.
Right.
Yeah.
And then the old 1 to 5 hand raiser scale that makes total sense amongst all these other 1 to 10 scales.
Yep, it absolutely does.
Also, no reason somebody couldn't have 10 hand raisers, but we went with 5. So
yeah, we went with 5. I'm gonna give it a just overall rating. I'm gonna give it a 2 even, because I enjoyed a lot of parts of it. It is less cyberpunk than I had hoped.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, no, I'm going to bump that up to 2.5. There was nothing wrong with this fucking thing.
Yeah.
But it was
there was something
bit
wrong
much.
with this thing.
Yeah.
It
was that?
Fucking confusing at times.
Yeah. It was a bit much.
Yeah. I'm going to go higher though. I think I'm going to go 3.5.
I loved North Number Two's story.
I love North Number 2. I love Brando's story.
I was not happy with it when it was happening, but for the rest of the series, I was sitting there going like, I wish we had more North Number 2.
Yeah. And even his crotchety old master.
Yeah.
But all the robots' individual stories, they were my favorite parts of the show. So
except
I'm
for
gonna
that goddamn Adam.
I don't mind Adam. He's a Mary Sue, but he's cute. I'm going 3.5 because cyberpunk bullshit aside, I just enjoyed watching it.
Yeah, I thought it was all right. I mean, like, I liked parts of it. Parts of it were too much, but
first half definitely stronger than the second.
Okay, all right. So that's our ratings. What are we doing next week? And by the way, we're going to announce on the show what we're doing next week.
You mean like right now?
Because sometimes we forget.
Oh yeah, we frequently forget. So next week we're gonna mix it up. I don't know why. Because
why not?
We talked at the beginning about what we do next week, and this was the first idea that was offered.
Yes, it literally popped up, and it seems like it won't be as much of a commitment as some of the other things in my mind.
Okay, so we have said we're trying to cover all cyberpunk media on this show, not just movies and books, which is the main things we've covered.
Yeah.
So we're going to try to review and recap a musical album.
Yes.
There is a band which I feel is a very cyberpunk band. I've followed them online for a while. They're called Gunship. Their biggest hit was a song called Tech Noir about 5 years ago. And they have a new album out called Unicorn, which I've been enjoying. And feels like earlier Josh was talking about a big thing that is cyberpunk to him is vibes. And I feel like the vibes of this album, if not the content and lyrics and everything, fit the bill.
I am interested to hear it. We'll see how it works out.
If it doesn't work out, you won't hear that episode.
Yeah, it could be me saying, why the fuck did you suggest this? Fuck you.
Yeah, it could be. Be gentle. It was just an idea. We didn't have to do it.
I know, but it seemed like a good idea at the time.
I mean, we got to get there eventually.
Yeah, and hey, if nothing else, it'll be practice for our big Billy Idol episode.
Yes.
And of course, our someday, eventually upcoming Patreon episode featuring Sean Faust.
Yes. Speaking of Sean Faust, one thing I like about this episode, the idea of it is there are no spoilers. So
no,
you can just, if you just like listening to our bullshit, but don't want to be spoiled, well, this episode is pretty free and easy for anyone because you're not going to be spoiled by an album review. So
yeah, apparently they are, according to Wikipedia, a synthwave act from the United Kingdom. And we'll be, as Eric said, listening to the album Unicorn. And he also suggested to me at the beginning of our recording today to watch the videos for their previous stuff. Dark All Day which came out 5 years ago, and Tech Noir, which came out 8 years ago.
No, 8. I was off.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
just because they give you a feel for what the band has always been, and they're pretty cool videos.
yeah, so I guess next week we'll figure out how to talk about a fucking record.
Hey, you heard us this week figure out how to talk about a 9-hour anime, and I think it went great.
Oh, just swimmingly.
No problems. Easy to follow.
Yeah.
Definitely people still listening right now.
They're here.
So if you did that, we appreciate it.
Whew.
All right. We are on Twitter at Johnny 60 Seconds.
Hey, we're on Blue Sky now, too.
Oh, fuck yeah. You're right. I finally made a Blue Sky account. Look up high tech. I think we're hightechlowlife.bsk. I don't know how you give your handle.
Yeah, I don't either. I'm on there, too. I click through to the followers or following on High Tech Low Life, if you can do that. I don't know.
There's a way. And then I think it's also on our link tree where all our social media links are, as is our YouTube. Go follow us on YouTube. We're getting some views there and it's fun.
Yeah.
Oh, and Patreon.
Yes, please go to our Patreon. If you like us, give us some money and you'll get an extra episode a month.
Yeah. And then plus the 5 that are there already.
Yeah. We had some fun shit on there.
Yeah, hopefully doing another one soon. So,
yes, we need to figure out what that is and get on it. Ba-boom.
All right, everybody. Thank you for hanging through this nightmare that was the recap of Pluto.
Fuck, I apologize. But,
Don't apologize. Embrace the chaos.
The one thing I want to say at the end of this episode is, Adam, take care of this beautiful world!
Bye, everybody.
Bye! I'm so glad we got to paint pictures together. It brought me such joy!
This has been the High Tech Low Life podcast. Find us on Twitter at Johnny60Seconds, email us at hightechlowlifepodcast@gmail.com, and find us on Patreon at patreon.com/hightechlowlife. Theme music by Nihilor at nihilor.com. Thank you for listening.
Keep it moving! Come on, what are you waiting on us?
They're trashing our rights, man! They're trashing the fluid data! They're trashing! Trashing! Trashing!